Hi, I'm Marge Robeson, registered dietitian with Pasonic Partners.
And I'm Louis Aguilar, chef at LCCAA Head Start.
And I am Melinda Gray, the food service manager at LCCAA Head Start.
Welcome to our Out of the Box cooking series, where we're making homemade favorites. And what's better than a homemade favorite than homemade macaroni and cheese? I think of it as kind of a comfort classic, a very comforting food. And when you make it homemade, it's a lot healthier, tastes so much better than you might get out of the box of macaroni and cheese. Have you ever made homemade macaroni and cheese, Melinda?
I have a few times, but I have a teenager at home that goes through macaroni and cheese like crazy.
Yes, it's a favorite, like I said. And what about you, Louis?
Yes, I've made it, and I've also doctored up some store-bought where, I'll use the pasta, some of the sauce, some of the powder mix.
Nice.
Different cheeses.
Nice. And again, like most of our recipes, another kid-friendly and, like you said, customizable recipe. We're making baked in the oven macaroni and cheese. There's so many different variations of macaroni and cheese. But this one I think is just as delicious, ooey and gooey. And so shall we get started in making it?
Yes.
I will leave you to it.
Thank you. So this in your box, of course, you're going to get all the ingredients. You can see there's really quite a few ingredients for this recipe. And what's nice is when you get it in the box, they're all pre-measured out. So you'll have all the ingredients. I think the only thing that's not measured that you'll have to measure is that you're getting a full container of heavy whipping cream that's used for the macaroni and cheese, makes it very creamy. You'd only use a cup of it. So you won't need all of this. What could you do with leftover whipping cream?
If you whip it long enough, you can make whipped cream, add some confectionery sugar and some sugar to it, make some whipped cream.
That would be fun for kids to get out of your mixer and just let them at the rest of it and make some whipped cream. So just take note of that. Besides all of the ingredients, you're also going to get this great pan that you'll use to bake the macaroni and cheese in. I love this pan because I think it's freezer safe, oven safe, so microwavable safe. So you can make it in here and, bake it in here. If you wanted to freeze it in here, use this obviously for other purposes. A great pan there, and also some measuring spoons. Again, we've pre-measured everything out, but you'll have those measuring spoons also. So this, like I said, recipe is great that you want to mise en place.
Yes, which is get your ingredients all ready and everything set up for success.
All right, great. Well, we're all set up for success.
Yes.
So you want to get us started?
Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the sauce. And the thought behind this is we're working from our top priority down to the lowest. So we'll get this started because it's one of the more elaborate steps.
And I think before you do this, you want to preheat your oven to 375 because we're going to make a sauce and mix it with the noodles. But then when it's done, it can go into the oven. So we've also heated our oven to 375. Louis has his pan good to go, and I'll show you what's in it.
Our heavy cream. We'll add in here a cup of that. We'll add our broth. And we have garlic powder. We have black pepper, some Italian seasoning to there, some paprika, and then some cayenne. And then what we'll do here is I'll just incorporate all our ingredients here with the cream and the stock. And what we want to do is bring this to a boil. And once it comes to a full boil, we'll turn it down and bring it to a simmer for about 7 minutes.
Okay. So at the same time, while your sauce is simmering there, you bring it to the boil, you could start your pasta. And through the magic of TV, we've already cooked and drained pasta. But in your box, you'll be getting classic elbow noodles that you use to make macaroni and cheese. Any tips for making noodles?
Salt your water, bring it to a full boil, add your pasta, and you could even add a little bit of oil if you'd like. You want to cook it, you can follow box directions or till it's firm to the bite, or what we call al dente. So if you bite it and the texture is firm, it's ready. Especially with this recipe, because it will have some time what we call carryover cook. It will continue to cook once we drain it because it's still hot. And plus we have our oven portion of it, which will continue to cook
Right.
the pasta. So we don't need to fully cook it so it's overcooked by the time you go into
Right.
it. And then our next step is we're just gonna pre-mix our cheeses. Again, mise en place, trying to have everything ready because it's a little bit of an elaborate recipe. Not too hard, but has a couple steps.
This recipe has 2 different types of cheeses that, again, kind of adds a little bit more flavor. Basically, it's 2 cups of cheese.
Yes, it's a cup of cheddar and a cup of Italian blended cheese.
Yes, but you could use whatever cheeses you wanted,
Yes.
right? Okay. So just to get that ready, you're just kind of mixing those 2 cheeses together that you will get in your box.
Yes, and what you'll do is just mix them, as easy as that. And the kids can help with this one. And what you'll want to do is, once it's mixed and incorporated thoroughly, you want to reserve about a quarter of this to the side. And this is for later on in the recipe when we're building it in the pan. So take about a quarter and just reserve it to the side. Bowl, you'll get butter, 2 tablespoons, melted. We've melted this one in our microwave. What you'll do is add your breading and then your second portion of your seasonings. And that'll be the salt, paprika, and the only difference this time around is no cayenne pepper.
Okay. And tell me about panko breadcrumbs.
So panko is what a Japanese style breading that's usually, it adds a,
Kind of crispiness.
more crunchier than your typical breadcrumbs.
Nice.
So, and Italian seasoning is the last one. And then what we'll do is just incorporate all these together with the butter. And then we essentially have all our components kind of already ready to go.
We've got our mise en place of
Yes.
everything put together. Maybe we can, we'll grease our pan when it's baking.
Now, once our sauce has simmered for 7 minutes on low, what we'll do is we'll turn the heat off and you can pull it right off. And what we'll do is our cheese mix, the majority of it, we'll start mixing in here by the handful slowly while mixing. You don't want to add the whole thing. We want to just slowly incorporate it in a handful at a time. So we'll start taking that.
So a whisk is your friend, just to
Yes.
gradually whisk it in.
But you can use a spoon if you like.
Okay.
Doesn't.
So eventually that's going to get kind of thicker and creamier.
Yeah, you want to give it time to start melting in here. You'll see it start to thicken up. So if I've incorporated all my cheese mix, and you want to get it to this consistency where it's nice and mixed, and you'll see the thickness already developed in the sauce. And that's when you know you're ready.
So it makes some stringy cheese, ooey gooey
Yeah.
cheese, but it's still kind of liquidy.
Yes.
Okay.
And then we're ready for our next step. And we'll add our cooked pasta to the sauce. Just do it slowly and just be careful with any splashing.
This recipe is probably less friendly for kids to actually make because
Yes.
it involves the stove and hot liquids. They will want to taste it, but they probably shouldn't participate in this part of it.
And once we have our noodles incorporated into the sauce, you'll just want to get it nice and combined. And it'll look something like this. And just keep in mind, it does look maybe overtly creamy, but this is still has to go in the oven and will still continue to cook. So this is kind of what you're looking for here. You do want it to be that consistency, a little tiny bit.
And you're going to notice if you're used to the box macaroni and cheese, it's a different color, right?
Yes.
Number one, because we use some white cheese in it. And number two, it doesn't have some of the food dyes or chemicals or things like that in the box macaroni and cheese. So again, a lot healthier version, dietitian, more friendly, the homemade.
And then we're gonna build one layer on the bottom of our pan. And again, carefully do this.
And then
we'll
you just
take
sprinkle some of the cheese
Yes.
on there.
our reserved
All of
cheese.
it?
Yep. No, just a
Part
little
of it,
bit.
because
Yeah,
some
part
goes
of it.
on the top.
Some of it will go with the breading. And then we'll do our second layer.
So it's even got more cheese layered through it, which makes it extra yummy and creamy,
Extra
cheesy.
Extra creamy. And that's what the kids love.
Yeah. Now, again, I'm always, you know me, trying to think of how to tweak my recipes, make them healthier. You could, before you put it in there, add some frozen broccoli.
Yeah.
Put that in there, or other vegetables for sure. I would maybe do broccoli, and if I had some ham, diced ham or sausage, you can make it a complete meal. Oftentimes, you know, mac and cheese can be a side dish. It can be a main meal. It's very versatile. I might
Yes.
take this and add all those things in it. You could get almost, you know, depending the size of your family, 2 meals
Yep.
out of it. And then
And then what you'll want to do is grab your panko.
that goes on before.
Then what I usually do is I'll mix the cheese in here since this is cooled off enough. It won't
Nice.
melt. But I'll just take everything there, incorporate it.
Okay.
Give it a quick little mix.
Sprinkle it over the top.
Just sprinkle it. Make sure you get every little nook and cranny covered as much as you can to the edges. And then what we'll do is put it in the oven for about 20 minutes or until the cheese bubbles and the crust browns on top. All right, our macaroni has been in the oven for about 20 minutes. Melinda, you want to check it for us?
I smell it. It smells
Does smell
good. It
good.
does smell good. It's got a
Thank you.
crispy crust on the top.
Yeah.
So let's dig in. We can see that it's already absorbed some of the liquid.
And I don't know about those over here, but I love the corner pieces.
Where it gets crispy.
Yes.
Yes, I like that also.
Carefully
The first piece, they always say, is the
Yes.
messiest. That's okay. It looks nice and gooey, so that's great. All right, shall we try it?
Yes.
It's on a cold day, something like macaroni and cheese. Nothing tastes better. Very good.
A lot more flavor than what you make from a box.
Mhm.
For sure, for sure. I love that crispy topping, and the cheesiness, the different cheeses.
Yeah, you can definitely taste that the cheese flavor in it.
Nice. So we hope you enjoy making this recipe with your family, and please join us again for another one of our out of the box cooking series.